Hi, welcome to the BlueMilk podcast. You'll notice that we have a shit ton of people here with us today. You should know who they are, but in case you don't, that's drinking.
I'm
drinking.
I'm
Ray.
I'm BJ.
I'm Faith.
And I'm Jacob.
And we are here today to talk about Star Wars. Or anything related to Star Wars. Or mildly, remotely connected to Star Wars.
We like dungeons.
Yes. Anyway.
Or related to physics. Speaking of...
Or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars physics.
The lack thereof.
We have been... It has been suggested by, I believe, Russ. Thank you. Not to delve into the physics of Star Wars.
Because the lack thereof.
Yes.
No, they just have a different type of physics. There's our physics.
There's no different type of physics.
What is your topic, sir? Or your question?
Or anything. Comment.
Oh, I love putting people on the spot.
Do you even have one?
Give him 30 seconds.
Love
it! You're gonna burn in hell.
Which one of them?
All of them.
Why do you think they changed the bomber type from the new ones in the new movie with the really big ones from like the Y-Wings, which were smaller and probably more maneuverable?
Episode 8, how they had the big bombers at the beginning that dropped all the
Yeah.
bombs. How they changed it from that, from the
Good
Y-Wings.
one. That
Y-Wings,
is good.
Y-Wings, yeah, that was their main bomber, but they switched to those really big ones. Now, granted, the really big ones probably had a bigger payload, but the smaller ones were probably more maneuverable and not as easily shot down.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't think of what the Y-Wings were wearing.
It's the yellow ones that were in episode 4 when the X-Wings and the Y-Wings are going to get to the Death Star.
And 6.
Okay.
And 6, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, they're like they got like the weird triangle head, and then there's like stem, and then it comes out. And it's got the two
Gotcha.
engine pods coming up.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Again, I don't have my damn notebook with me. But it's okay.
So why did they transition from Y-Wings to the big bombers? Is that your question?
That is my question. Why do you think they transitioned between those two?
There's why or why do we think?
Either one.
Both?
Because I don't have an answer for the why.
I do.
But why do we
Okay.
think?
Why?
Jake's got a why.
Because they wouldn't be able to get the scene that they shot.
That's a why we think.
No, that is the why.
not a why.
That is a why.
It's an official why.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't get that scene.
I have a realistic why.
Hmm.
Well, they're kind of on their last limbs at this point, the Resistances. They probably don't have any of the Y-Wings left.
Then my question to you is, where do they get the ships from?
Hoth or wherever. Like
From-
some, abandoned place that happened to have some laying around.
Actually,
She has
That's a
a
good
requirement
answer.
going on apparently.
That is
That's
a
a
good
good
answer.
answer.
but they actually show in the last movie that they go through weapons brokers. They
Yeah.
show that the same people selling the Empire ships are the same people selling the Rebellion ships.
Which goes back to one of the comments, or one of the episodes we did about the smugglers and... I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know either.
Fuck that.
Well,
Hang on,
You know
pause.
What?
Can you see
What?
Alita?
What about her?
Oh, you're like Dirk. Yeah, you're taking it
Heidi?
a little bit.
Hey, look, there I am.
Okay. Sorry.
No, thank you.
Come on.
I'm just a voice back here in the corner.
You're always a voice in the corner.
No,
Have
usually
you
I'm not
seen
in the
the
corner.
credits?
And this, yes, but in life,
Yeah.
no, I'm never in the corner.
Okay.
No one puts baby in the car.
No, I just don't stand in corners very
I
well.
hate you. I hate you.
To me, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be like their way of trying to battle the dreadnoughts? Is there...
Well done.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that puts in a huge
Love the
amount of
ships.
firepower in there. I mean,
Love
they were
the
slow
ships.
and they were cumbersome, and to me, they got blown up before they actually accomplished what they were trying to do. But my thought was that maybe that's what they were trying to do, is find a way to attack them with a better payload.
Maybe that was the amount of payload that was needed to get through to the dreadnought.
Yeah, if they
Through
actually
the armor.
accomplished it.
Yeah.
Because they bypassed the shields.
Yeah.
Right. So that may be what their thinking was on those. More firepower. They just didn't think it all the way through.
The shot one is more of my thing. It's that scene. It wouldn't have gotten that intensity, if you want to even call it that, with that.
It was all
scene
ridiculous.
At all. Yeah, it was...
That whole scene was pretty fucking ridiculous.
Like, I understood what they're trying to do. And they're trying to make it very intense and everything like that.
They could have done it with a Y-Wing.
Yeah.
I think it would have been much more dynamic
Mm-hmm.
if they'd had something.
Or
instead of
even
these
bring
lumbering
back,
things.
like, a different type of version of the U-Wing. But those are more troop transports anyways.
Yeah.
U-Wings are troop transports,
Yeah.
yes. What would be interesting is actually if you actually saw a transition of technology and ships between all of the movies instead of just X-Wings and TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if more ships, like... Because you see the TIE Phantom in Rogue One, or the TIE Striker. You see the TIE Striker in Rogue One. That's that little ship that has the two wings that go like this, and it moves really fast. And
Oh, I thought you were
maneuverable.
talking about the one with the 3 fins.
The one
What's
with
that
the 3 fins is a TIE Defender.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. It sounded weird because I thought it was...
No, there's the TIE Defender. The TIE Punisher is actually a double cockpit bomber.
Yeah.
So, like, you know how, like, the bomber has, like, the one really big, like, kind of stretched out,
Bulky one, yeah.
bulky cockpit, and then it has, like, the bigger, like, the TIE Advanced big wings kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Punisher is essentially, like, 2 of those cockpits next to each other, and then wings. And it's, like, big. But, yeah, the fins, whatever. But, like, the TIE Striker... Like, the TIE Striker is in Rogue One, and you never see it in any movie after that. There are ships in the prequels that you see that you never see afterwards. Like the Hammerhead.
That's because of toys.
The Hammerhead you see in the prequels, and then you see in Rogue One, but then you never see in any of the...
In
the
Rebels. You see in Rebels a little bit.
Yeah.
That's where you get to see them actually get to see them steal the hammerheads that they use in Rogue One.
But
Yeah,
if you focus on the movies, you're looking for consistencies throughout the movies.
It's really like Star Destroyers.
Really? This again?
Yeah.
He's always tired.
It's really just like the Star Destroyer, or like Imperial Star Destroyers and Victory Class Star Destroyers, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, and that's really it. Like, you don't even see bombers in any of the new stuff.
Mm-mm.
Like TIE bombers, you don't even see any of that, or TIE Advances or anything.
Very true.
I mean, Kylo has his own like special ship that's his.
Even interceptors are limited.
They don't even have interceptors, not in the new stuff.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So I mean, there's really no way to tell like what the natural progression of like the technology is, because I mean, the TIE Striker I guess would be like an early version of an interceptor, but they don't even look anything similar, because the interceptor is more just like a sleeked out version of a fighter.
You know what we should do is put together a list of the different types of ties that are out there.
Like a bow tie.
Oh, there's a lot.
Oh, jeez.
No, there's a lot, because I mean, the X-wing.
There's a lot. There are a lot.
The X-wing attack wing. Star Wars Attack Wing, like tabletop miniatures game. That's like pretty much dogfighting with ships or whatever. That has most of the ties, and it's like 9 different ships easily.
What are those ships that the clone troopers use that kind of look like X-Wings, but they're more like, are those the...
What do you mean, the Lambdas?
No.
Jacob, speak up.
The, Arc ones.
The
Arc?
Yeah, the Tri-Wings, yeah.
What Tri-Wing?
The ones that are in the Clone Wars. The ones that are used over at the Battle of Coruscant, when they're fighting Grievous and everything.
Oh,
With the troopers. The troopers
and they have the sides missing
Yeah.
or whatever, and they just hop out and fall down?
Well,
I don't remember.
okay.
I don't remember what those are called.
Well, no, you're wrong, but okay, yeah, sure, I'll let it go because I'm passive aggressive. No, that's not what you meant.
No, the ones that have the ones that have like 4 little wings, and then they have like a big old gigantic wing.
I can't
There you go.
I can't think of what
And it's like longer. I think it's a little bit longer than the actual X-wing
I
itself.
see what he's talking about, but
And they're
I can't tell you what it is.
I'm trying to think of the color. It's like gray, white gray. It's like really light gray and like
Color's not doing
Red.
anything for me.
Are they like shaped like that?
yes.
Nope.
Wings. They have the bigger wings here and the little wings like that.
I got your bigger
This
wings.
is where the fun begins.
Okay, we'll look it up later. Anyway, what about
No
those
idea what the
This
fuck.
is
I was just
accurate.
wondering if you knew what they were.
Thank
This
you.
is
That's all.
accurate.
Well, there's the ARC fighters, which are the normal, like the big prequel to X-Wings.
No, I think that, but they have 6 wings technically.
Yeah, but they don't have
When
they
they're
don't
attacked.
they don't have troops and like there's 2 pilots in an ARC wing.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that they're. I'm not.
Oh, you're not talking about like the troop transports. You're talking about like the regular
I'm talking-
fighters.
Yeah, that's what I
Because you
about
said
the-
troop transports.
I
You
swear that's what
cunt.
Jacob said.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about troop transport. I said.
Did he not say troop
I don't
transport?
No, he
remember
did
him saying
not
troop
say
transport.
troop. He did not say poop and pork.
All right. So
Padme.
not troop. I thought I heard troop transports.
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
you were wrong.
He pops up. No, you're right.
Oh, yeah, I'm wrong. Anyway,
All right.
all right. Yeah, no, those are ARCs.
Okay, that's what I
Those
figured.
are ARC fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're cool.
yeah, they're.
Yeah.
They're the prequel to the progenitor to the X-wing.
To be honest, I like those better than the X-wings.
Well, prior to that are the
Oh,
Z95.
yeah.
So there's ARC fighters and then there's Z95 headhunters.
Wait, what?
Z95 headhunters are actually the like the direct model right before the X-wing.
Uh-huh.
They look exactly like X-wings, except the wings don't split. It's just one, like a wing on this side, a wing on this
And
side,
they have 4 engines?
and they have 2 engines. It's 2 engines because the engines are
Oh!
they don't split. So
they're
it has
kind of
2
like the
big
new
engines.
ones when the engines get split, technically, right?
Well, no, because like an X-wing, well, the reason it has 4 engines is because the wings split.
Yeah.
So it has an engine on each
To
fin.
stabilize them.
Fin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on each fin. But a Z95, the wing doesn't split, so it's just
Okay.
2 big, bulky engines.
Oh.
Like a jet.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah. That's like directly before an X-wing.
Okay.
That's the Z95 head.
Now, are they all manufactured by the same company?
Yeah.
Arc to the Z to the X?
Do we know
Arc
what
to the
that
Z.
company might be?
No, we will look it up.
No. I want to see if these assholes know what they're talking about.
Can you pass me my drink, Dirk? We can cut it out.
Do we know of any?
Well, I know it's not. I know it's
never
not
heard of
Go
Kessel.
that.
long!
Don't you dare.
I know that Kessel doesn't manufacture them. They're.
Well,
I think
one
it
thing,
starts with an I.
it's not quite. Quad.
Quad.
Junkyards. It's not
Yeah,
quad.
it's not quad. I think it starts with an I.
What was the question?
Just why they had switched between the 2 different kinds of bombers. That was the.
Oh, yes. I do have an answer for that.
An idea of what you
It's
think?
no. It's accurate. It's may
Say
not
it.
be official, but it makes sense.
Okay.
Movie time. You need something slower to
Why wings
draw
are slow though?
to draw out the length of the movie
But why wings
because
are
they
slow?
didn't have enough good fucking content to make.
But you could have made a good fighting scene and lasted longer without having to something that lumbered
I think-
along.
And I agree with that.
I think
but they didn't.
I think the primary reason that they used the bombers they used in 8 is because they wanted it to resemble something along what an actual war movie is. So like the B-95 bombers flying
the
over
tech-
and
fuck the-
dropping all of those bombs, they wanted something reminiscent of that, something
Yeah.
visceral.
The what?
I don't know, the B-95 or something?
The B-52.
B-15, there we go, yeah.
B-52.
I know Star Wars, I don't know real life.
Just saying. Just trying to get this across.
We need to put him in front of World War II documentary.
No shit.
Yeah, okay, I'm okay with
Hitler's
that.
secret weapon.
I probably won't remember a damn thing, but I'm like, Z-95 header? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, like, yeah.
Even better, a B-17. A
Okay.
B-17 bomber would work just as well. It's got the same speed capabilities.
but it has a huge payload of bomb.
Yes.
Like, essentially, the images from like World War II, where they're pretty much flying over areas, and you see them drop their payload, and you see all these bombs just jam down.
Right. But
That's what
even
they
they move faster than those fucking bombers. And
To
have
be
so
honest,
many.
I don't think the bombers were moving. I think the ship was moving faster than the bomber.
I think you're right.
Because it didn't seem like
I
those ships
think
were
you're
moving
right.
at all.
Yeah, they kind of sat their way to be shot
the
at.
bombers were pointless.
Honestly,
That
they
could
were
have been done
absolutely.
so
You could have totally
much
made
faster.
an X-Wing and a Y-Wing fight scene with the TIE fighters and everything a lot better. Going against the Dreadnought, like right above that Dreadnought and everything like that.
Oh,
that would have been
absolutely.
much better.
I think it was a
Absolutely.
waste of a perfectly good dreadnought.
And they could have still had the same effect, like, oh no.
That too.
Yeah, the Dreadnought. Oh.
I think the dreadnought looks
Dreadnoughts.
dumb as shit, though.
No, I
Go
saw
away.
the Dreadnought and I got a Woody.
No.
What's wrong with that?
Oh yeah.
What's wrong with it? It's flat.
So?
It's literally just like.
So is the B-52.
Is it?
Yeah. B-52 is sexy. That
No.
is a sexy
No, you want to know
plane.
what's sexy? The fucking ISD that was sitting right next to the dreadnought. That's the sexy fucking shit.
Yeah, the ISD sit next to the Dreadnought going,
That's not the That's not the ISD's
Yeah.
fault. That's Hicks' fault.
Hux Hicks.
Hicks, Hux, Hicks. Hicks.
Hux Hicks.
Hicks. The redheaded motherfucking stepchild that was on hold with Poe Dameron.
You had it all in Hicks. It was all right in Hicks. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to give the explanation. Everybody understands what a Hick is.
Regardless, the redheaded stepchild that was on fucking hold with Poe Dameron. That's that guy's fault. That's not the ISD's fault. Honestly, if it had been like the guy that was in charge of the Dreadnought was on the ISD, he'd have been like, launch fighter screens, like right as soon as fucking coming out.
Yeah, and the movie would have been over in 10 minutes.
Would have killed the
Done.
entire rebellion and been like, alright, we're done here.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Alright, episode 9, here we come. The Empire comes back.
Yeah.
Again and
Yeah.
again and again and
Return of
again.
the Empire?
Return of the Empire. I like it.
Girl zombies.
That would have been cool.
No, that would have been...
They actually do have a
Return of
book
the
called Death
Resistance.
Trooper.
They actually did do a
They have-
book where it was zombies.
They were
Yeah.
always nice.
Isn't it Han Solo and Chewbacca go on to like a...
I don't think so.
Go
I think
ahead,
it's just
explain
these
it to the woman
So-
so she understands.
Oh.
A group of people
Yeah.
go on to a Star Destroyer that has, I think
It's a derelict Star Destroyer that had a shit ton of damage done to it, and it was just floating through space, and they were like, alright, let's, like, scrap it, like, salvage it or whatever.
Yeah.
So they went on to it, and they found out that it was actually, like, a Star Destroyer that... The reason it was out there floating in the middle of space was they were conducting experiments on it.
Reavers.
And the experiment... It wasn't Reavers. They created zombies, and it was, like, real zombies, like, actual zombies.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch
on
of...
the plane.
They had zombies that were stormtroopers running
these
around.
motherfucking zombies off this motherfucking plane.
Yeah. So they had a bunch of zombie stormtroopers
I want
like,
to make a movie like that
throughout
now.
throughout the whole book, and it's them like trying to get off the ship and destroy them before they get anywhere that they can turn like an
Make more
entire
zombies.
planet into a zombie.
Gotcha.
Into zombies or something.
Okay.
Alright, so Jacob, what's yours?
We actually covered
The
it. I think it was like our...
Over.
It was
Yeah.
in one of the episodes before we actually even started officially recording and actually releasing them.
Oh my god.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
In Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
Palpatine says when he's talking to Anakin, making his apprentice...
I
once-
like monkey love.
I'm pretty sure that was not.
No, he said, once more the Sith shall rule the galaxy,
Yeah.
and then we shall have... finally we shall have peace.
Yeah.
There is no peace. Peace is a lie.
Alright.
Exactly where I am coming with
I
this.
think that was misquoted. I will
Yeah,
check it,
it's misquoted.
but
He says...
Hold
I
on, let me
understand
finish
where
this.
I know where he's going.
Yeah.
Finish the statement.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And we shall have
Palpatine is not a Sith. Because if he believes in peace, it literally says in the Sith code, peace is a lie, there's only passion. Okay. Therefore, he can't be an actual Sith. Therefore, technically, Darth Vader is not a Sith.
Then he's Darth Maul.
Yeah, exactly. Darth Maul.
Or Darth Tyrannus.
Yeah, Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means technically the Sith died with Plagueis. Or Plagius.
Plagueis?
Plagueis, yeah.
Plagueis?
Plagueis.
It's Plagueis.
Yeah, I know. So, discuss.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
No.
Unless he just didn't mean it.
That Palpatine
Why wouldn't he mean it?
Wait, did he actually state that the galaxy would be at peace?
Yes.
PJ, stop.
Because he was trying to convince Anakin to join him. And peace is something that Anakin would want. He was just using...
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time.
At the time, his ideal was to create an empire where someone who could rule, have absolute rule, and have peace throughout the galaxy. He actually explains that to Padme.
Oh, so yeah, he has that whole conversation with Padme.
Anakin was a whiny little bitch.
That doesn't change the fact that he's right.
He would not want peace.
Yes, because that's what he was going on.
He would always have... He was brought up on antagonistic ideas.
Not always
He
younger.
would always need those antagonists.
But, Dirk, you have to understand...
I'm a person and my name is Anakin. He's an antagonistic little prick.
But, Dirk...
Peace.
But, Dirk, you have to understand that this is where peace is a lie gets proven to be true. Because he may think he wants peace, but he can't have peace.
Then he would need to understand that in order to
They
be
don't
a Sith.
understand... No, you don't have to understand it to be a Sith.
Sure you do.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Do you know how many people out there
That
claim to be a Christian but have no freaking idea what that means?
Oh.
As a comparison.
No.
So, Dirk,
that's his point.
Stop. What she just said is a fact.
Aw.
Sorry, guys.
Anyway.
You can say that
But
with
I'm
a
just-
lot of religions.
Yeah.
But
that's
we're
what
just-
I'm
You can say
pointing
that
out.
with all religions, but
yeah. There's a lot
And
of...
fact.
Political parties.
Yeah, but
You can
that's
say that about
the
any
point.
religion.
Regardless...
it is true.
Star Wars related, Anakin doesn't need to understand the credo. He doesn't need to believe in the credo to be a Sith.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
You don't.
Yes, you do.
Fucking Donnie Yen's character believes he's a Jedi, goes by the code.
He doesn't.
He does.
No, he doesn't.
He says he follows the teachings of the Jedi.
He stated specifically the Jedi are dead.
Yeah, but he follows their teachings.
That doesn't make him a Jedi.
Because he's not
It
force
does.
connected.
No.
Because we've
No,
stated that
that
Jediism is a religion, and anyone can believe in that religion.
That
You don't
doesn't
have to
make
use the
them
Force.
a Jedi.
You don't have to use the Force to be a Jedi.
That does not make them
no,
a Jedi.
you don't.
That
no.
does not
Yeah.
No, just because the only
belief
examples,
does
just
not
because
make.
it does,
Ooh.
it does.
Ooh, ooh.
Wait, what'd you say?
That's getting
Repeat.
into religion, and that is a touchy topic.
Just
but-
make it relatable.
Believing
I'll do it.
does
I'll do it.
make you.
No, it does not.
It does.
Belief does not make fact.
No,
Figure it out, guys.
just because it doesn't make fact doesn't mean that if you believe in it doesn't mean that you're not part of it is not true. If you believe in a religion, you are part of that religion.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
That's a believer. That's literally what a believer of a religion is.
But you also have to follow certain rules.
And he
the
does.
Sith code is a rule.
If you
That
do
is
not
like-
follow those
It's more like
rules,
guidelines.
you are not part of that
Okay,
religion.
if you're going to be that absolute, then nobody's anything, because nobody ever follows the rules absolutely.
Absolute Sith.
There are no absolutes.
There are no absolutes, ever.
That's
Only a
actually-
Sith.
deals in absolutes, which is an absolute himself.
Yes, it is.
Which is also inaccurate.
Therefore, all the Jedi are fucked.
Well, we already did with Order 66.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They weren't fucked. They were chopped. Some of them might have been fucked, but they were mostly chopped. Thank you, Faye.
Regardless.
Because she cut it right off the bat.
Regardless, someone who believes in a religion is a member of that religion.
If
That's
they choose to
literally the prime example of what a believer of a religion is.
if they choose to be part of that religion. You know?
Yes.
No,
You could-
no. Because, no, I'm sorry. You don't believe in Christianity, therefore you are not a Christian.
True.
Correct. But if you believed in Christianity,
Yeah.
That doesn't
Would you
make
make
you
a
a Christian.
Not if I
That
didn't
does
want to
not
be.
make you a Christian.
I could say, okay,
Simple belief.
Letter.
I could say, okay, I believe in Christianity. I recognize your beliefs and I think that you're right. But I don't want to be part of Christianity. I could
you're still a
believe-
Christian, though.
No.
Not if I don't
No,
want to be.
you're not.
Well, you are.
No.
You're just not identified with the majority. Because that's why there's like 100
What the
different...
fuck does the majority have to do with it?
There's 100 different Christianity beliefs. Protestant, Lutheran.
Does majority make it right?
Yes.
No.
Majority always makes
the
it
thing
right.
No, it
is-
doesn't.
That's how the world works.
That's how democracy works.
That's how the
That
world
doesn't
works.
make populations.
That's how the
That's
world works.
Okay, how many people have been tried in
What
the
you
media
did.
because popular opinion says that they're guilty, they're guilty. That's how our world
But
works.
this is the thing. With the Sith, there's only 2 of them. So if one of them's not following them, then what the fuck? Like, seriously. If Darth Vader's not following the Sith code, then
He
he's
is.
not a Sith. No, he's not.
What is he not
Peace, if peace
doing?
is...
Darth Vader's not the one that said he wanted peace.
Yeah, it was
we're talking about...
This is pre him.
Becoming
Darth Vader never once in any line ever said he wanted peace.
Okay, so Anakin...
That is a fact.
Yeah.
Darth
Because
Vader wanted...
You really have to
Power.
look at Anakin and Darth Vader as 2 different characters.
Yeah,
because he
They are
becomes-
2 different characters.
That's what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying. They're the same person, but they become 2 different characters once he moves over. But there's
Anakin is a
who says
completely
one thing,
different
and then
person than Darth
becomes something
Vader.
else.
There's a transition period. I would consider it to be...
Well, there always is, but they become 2 different characters. Jake.
So,
Okay, so
I
then
used to be Jew, but there was a transition period, and then I turned Christian.
That happens every day.
Yeah.
okay, so then it poses the question: Did Sidious actually want? Did Palpatine actually want peace? Meaning that he wasn't a true Sith, or did he just say that to please
Which
Anakin?
goes back to what he was
He
saying.
wanted...
So,
he
my
wanted
counter to you, the reason why he wanted peace and order leads to the motives as to why he wanted to form the Empire in the first place.
Was because of the Yusung Vong?
Was because of the use of Vong.
Explain that to
According
people who don't know what
according-
that means.
according to Legends
Yeah.
canon, the reason Palpatine wanted to create the Empire in the first place was to unify the Star Wars galaxy from an exterior invasion of the Yuuzhan Vong, which is a race from another galaxy that is coming to ours as a threat to take over our galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That is why Palpatine wanted to do what he did. Now, not necessarily wanting peace, because he clearly didn't create peace when he made the fucking Empire. There was still conflict everywhere in the galaxy.
No.
Even without the rebellion.
No.
There was still conflict all
No.
over the galaxy.
Yeah.
If you create a empire that believes in nothing but you are creating peace.
But he doesn't want an empire that believes only in him. He wants an empire that believes in order. And order doesn't dictate peace. Order is just a way to come by an end goal.
You got to.
Order smashes down
Order is a counter.
contradictory opinions,
Order is a counter to chaos if you think of it in
which
concepts.
creates peace.
Ultimately,
That's not true.
No, ultimately what it comes down to is it came down to power. He wanted power and control over to make the world like he wanted it to be.
And
Which
he
means
did.
controlling
He
what
got it
everybody
to that
did.
point.
But just like every politician out there, he has to play one group against the other to get to his means and what he wants, so that way they all rely on him. It all comes down to power.
So the statement of bringing peace, or
Again,
whatever
it's
the
just- it's a
statement
political
Well,
is.
and
statement.
ultimately,
it's
what,
a political statement.
and
it's
ultimately,
just to get his point across,
it's
to
just to manipulate
who
Anakin.
he's talking about.
Exactly.
That's what he was
Exactly.
trying to point out. How did that take you so far to get there?
I'm drinking.
So, my next point that leads after all this
I like that.
In the beginning part where he says, once more the Sith shall rule the galaxy, would you guys like to see a spin-off about when the Sith ruled the galaxy?
No, because he's not Sith if he wants peace.
Well, I'm talking about...
We've already established that he is Sith.
He's just stirring the honey pot.
I'm just stating that.
No, you're just being contradictory because we just covered
It's
that.
going contradictory to the code.
No,
It's devil
you're just
advocate.
bringing
Yeah,
back up
exactly.
the whole
Regardless,
thing
no, I wouldn't want to see a time
Or
period
would you
in
like
which
to
this-
learn more about when the Sith ruled
Well, I
the
already
galaxy?
know when the Sith ruled the galaxy.
Like,
And
actually
when was
ruled
that?
it?
Smart ass, so we can
When?
tell
Yeah,
our
when was that?
listeners.
It's
Yeah,
the
when
Old
was that?
Republic.
No, the Sith never ruled the Old Republic.
Yeah, they did.
They
Yeah,
had
there
the
was
Sith
battle.
Empire.
The whole time.
Well, there were several battles.
There was the Sith
You go back
Empire.
far enough, the Sith did rule, though.
They didn't rule the entire galaxy.
They ruled the unknown galaxy. Because you gotta realize,
Not altogether. There was still the
No,
at
Republic.
one point or another.
There was still the Republic.
But how do you
The
know the
Republic
Republic
was
wasn't
never
controlled by Sith?
Okay, how do you know they were?
How the
Yeah.
hell could it be controlled by Sith?
How could it not?
They were
Look how corrupt it
anti-
became.
What?
Look how corrupt the Republic became.
Look
How do you know
the
that
Sith
isn't influence?
became.
Look how corrupt the Jedi became.
Alright.
Jedi have
You want to
always
use
been
it? You want to use this other shit as examples? I'll
If you're
point
gonna
that
use
out.
corruption as an argument, every fucking faction is corrupted.
Not the
And
big
technically,
every faction.
the Sith didn't actually become corrupted.
There
They
is no
embraced
purity.
what they were.
There is no purity at all.
The
The Sith were
Mandalorians are
wiped
pretty
out.
good.
The Sith were wiped out, but that has
The
nothing to do with whether...
Mandalorians were bought.
That's true. They were bought by the Sith. Regardless, the Sith never were corrupt. They embraced what they were.
The Sith died out and were eliminated.
Are you talking about the race or the religion?
The race.
Well, see, the race has nothing to do with what I'm
The
talking
Sith
about.
did not
See, you're
become
being
a
contradictory
religion
for a
until
religion.
Bane.
You're becoming contradictory just to make a point.
No, they became a religion
No.
when
Even
the Jedi,
when the
Dark
race-
Jedi got transferred to Korriban and then discovered the Sith species.
Yeah.
And they started inbreeding. That's
Yeah.
when they became a religion.
That's exactly
Because
what
it
it
wasn't
is.
just the Sith species anymore. It was...
The Sith have always embraced what they are. That's why they have the credo. And the reason they say peace is a lie is because they understand that anyone that seeks peace or furthers their goals to make absolute peace can't have that because life is chaos. That's ultimately what that breaks down to. There is no such thing as peace because there's ultimately the expansion and retraction of the galaxy and life and death. It's always the struggle.
My question is, when did the Sith control absolutely the whole...
During Bane's time, I would say.
No.
I'd have to agree
The Sith
with
did
that.
not control... They were still fighting the Republic. The Republic was still...
Bane
Fighting.
factions.
No, no,
Still
no.
fighting, yes.
Fighting.
Control?
They
They
didn't...
controlled. Because
Bane?
there would have been no fight.
There was still... They didn't control
Jacob.
all of the galaxy. though.
Jacob, you have to understand that even if there's fighting, so literally by that standpoint, the Republic never controlled the entire galaxy because they don't control Hut space.
Well, the Sith
They don't
never-
control the First Order space.
The Sith
They don't
never
control
controlled
Chiss
the whole
space.
galaxy either.
Yeah, they don't control, to be honest, because they allow it.
Neither side.
So technically, during the Empire's time period, the Empire never really controlled all of the galaxy either.
They
Then
controlled a lot of Hut space.
That's
to be
true.
honest.
No, they didn't.
Tatooine?
No, they didn't control. They
control it.
invaded Tatooine, and they didn't control it.
The Hutts controlled Tatooine.
They still controlled the space.
No,
portion
they
of it.
invaded it. The Hutts controlled Hut space.
That's why it was called Hut
You're,
space.
you're literally using the beginning of episode 4 when you see a bunch of stormtroopers walking on Tatooine as your prime example of the Imperials controlled Tatooine.
work
I'm like,
that
are you
way,
fucking
dude.
retarded?
I mean, you get to see all the stormtroopers there. They were looking for the droids and everything.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
Yeah, they occupied Tatooine,
Exactly. That means
motherfucker.
they controlled it.
No, it doesn't.
Occupation. It is not a control. It is an occupation.
If it's occupied,
No, think of it this way. If we're over in the Middle East, and
Uh-huh.
we're over there, and we're sitting in there.
We're
don't control
occupying the Middle East. Do we
Occupy.
control what they do?
No.
we used to.
No, we
And then
never
they-
fucking
and then
did.
up to- we
Where the fuck did you get
we
that
set up their
from?
fucking government.
We
gave them a democratic-
We allowed the government to grow.
We didn't actually
We did not
make them their
control
government.
the government.
And we didn't control it either.
We help it along and we help manipulate it, but we don't control it.
But isn't
hang on. She brings up a good point.
But isn't manipulating
manipulation?
Yeah.
Is a form of control.
It is, but it's not outright.
But it's not
control.
absolute control.
No, it's not absolute.
It's not where you walk in and say you're going to do this and this. You do little things to manipulate so you get things to happen the way you want.
And that's literally politics. That's everywhere in the world. Whatever.
I'm pretty sure the Empire did control Tatooine.
No.
They just allowed Jabba still there.
No, they worked with Jabba. No. Jabba controlled it, but they worked within
controlled.
it. Yeah.
It's so much easier to manipulate someone who's already in control than to just take over a place.
Bingo.
It's literally the path of least resistance.
How do you think we have most of the holidays we have now? It's where they went through, they took the holidays that existed, manipulated them to form over to flip them so people would move over to religion.
But do you think Jabba would allow...
Absolutely, if there's enough money involved.
But the troops going to house to house looking for droids and everything.
If there's enough money involved, they're not fucking with Jabba. He doesn't give a shit.
Right.
He's getting paid.
Yeah.
If you were in control of a city and this other city was like, hey, we're going to give you like $1 billion to like have our troops come through and knock on a few doors. Yeah. You would be like, are you going to knock on mine? No? All right. Fuck it. I'm getting paid.
And it's also another form of law and order there because if they're kind of patrolling your streets for you and keeping people from doing stuff you don't want them to do, why interfere?
Well, there aren't a whole lot of rules in Hut Space.
No, there aren't.
But I mean, if you have, stormtroopers walking around, people are going to keep that stuff hidden.
Like, I mean, it's a form of like keeping everyone in line.
Yeah.
But Palpatine...
But by paying off the Hutts to be able to do that, they also didn't piss off the Hutts. So they didn't have other problems forming from that angle.
You don't know a lot about politics, do you?
No, but the thing is that...
He doesn't think about it.
Palpatine did have some type of control with the Hutts to keep them in order and would not have any
he had a business
problems with them.
He had a business
agreement. So therefore, he had some type of control.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
No, because the Hutts could easily have turned and joined the rebellion if they wanted to. They could have easily, if they were not as greedy as they were, which you agree, Hutts are fucking greedy, right?
Yes, I absolutely hate them.
So if Hutts had been like, you know what, not as greedy, and been like, you know what, we just don't want Imperial money anymore, we're going to join the rebellion. They absolutely could have. Because Palpatine doesn't have absolute control over the Hutts.
No.
He has a business agreement with them.
That's a movie I want to see.
Where the Hutts are like, you know what?
You know what? Oh, sorry. It would be Lift a Tail. You know what? And that's their
But
way
the
of saying
thing is that in Clone Wars, Darth Maul had the Mandalorians and everything like that and killed 3 or 4 of the Hutts.
He had the Death Watch. He didn't have the Mandalorians.
Well, sorry. The Death Watch. Sorry. Death Watch. And then controlled Mandalore. Sorry.
After they took hold of it, yes, but
killed 3 or 4
Watch.
Hutts,
Yes.
which meant that there was still some type of vacuum of control there for Hutts. So there is a possibility that the Empire later on controlled that part of space.
Well,
correct?
they also deal with that whole kind of premise in the Old Republic, the video game, because there are Hutts that work with the rebellion against the Empire, and then there are Hutts that work with the Empire against the rebellion. Or with the rebellion against the Empire, and with the Empire against the rebellion. They're on either side, and it's ultimately because Hutts are greedy. They want money. They go where the people will pay them. And so, literally, if you're playing on the Empire side, you're actually going through fucking Nal Hutta, and you're fucking hunting down the Hutts that are working for the rebellion to kill them, so that the other ones will fall in line. And it's the same thing with when you're working on the rebellion side, you go through the planet and you're trying to switch over the ones that are working for the Empire and make it so that it looks like they betrayed the Empire so that they will now work for the rebellion.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, they're like mobsters. Everybody has their territory. And the people who want to play in that sandbox go and they make nice with them so they can each get something out of the deal. But you don't have this guy in this territory conflicting because it makes sense to have their own territory and control their own shit.
Okay, so going with the whole conflicting thing, technically the Sith Empire still had no control because they did not have an agreement with the Republic. They were still in conflict with them. So therefore, the Sith Empire never had complete control of the galaxy.
But then it comes down to
majority. But they never had an agreement or anything like that.
But then it comes down to majority.
When did they have majority of control of space?
After Bane.
After Bane?
Yes.
After Bane.
Yes.
When Bane killed all the Sith. In the cave.
On Rusan. one fucking planet.
Yes. Where he
All
killed
right.
all.
That's not
So-
where all the Sith were. The entire population of Sith were not on Rusan.
Okay, so it's more like
He killed that one teacher, and he killed a large army of
Well,
Sith.
yeah,
he also killed a large army of Jedi, too.
Yeah.
And then he went into hiding
no,
afterwards.
but if you remember
Actually,
correctly,
if you read the end, he actually went forward and set up a large connection
Yeah.
of political. Now, to be fair, if you want to look at all, like how, if you want to look at it in percentages, the Sith were 100% in existence. You want to know why? Because there was two. Because Darth Bane created the rule of two. There should only ever be two Sith,
What are you doing?
and there were two.
I'm trying
And so 100% of the Sith in the galaxy existed at that time. And since Bane was in the process of creating a spider web of connections and manipulations and money and payoffs and all the infrastructure necessary, he pretty much took over the entire galaxy and was manipulating the Republic and manipulating everything else. Because if you want to say that, if you are absolutely certain that Palpatine had control of the Hutt space through his manipulations, then Bane had absolute control of the galaxy through his manipulations of the Republic.
but the thing is
No.
that, no,
I'm using your
but then I'm
example
gonna
against
counter
you,
it.
sir.
I'm countering it now.
Okay.
Palpatine is technically in line with Darth Bane, right? So that means
Well, the reason Palpatine was able
would
to
have the
take
same
over-
connections as Bane.
No, the Bane spent his
That means-
time. Bane spent his time developing those connections.
And you don't think it fell through from apprentice to apprentice to apprentice?
I think
to keep
more
connection?
connections. I think more connections were made.
That
over
means
time.
that
Well,
means that the
okay.
Empire never fell then.
When
At that
when
point,
Bane
then
died,
his statement, that entire statement, is a complete lie because he says once more the Sith shall rule the galaxy. Once more, that means it had to fall and then come back.
Yeah, and it did fall right
Where?
before Bane.
You just said after Bane he controlled it.
Yeah, so before it
So before Bane,
Yeah.
it fell, and after Bane, they took over.
No,
Yeah.
no.
you know what you're gonna say?
I see where he's going with that. After Bane died, Xana was not completely and entirely aware of all of his connections. So
Well,
a
Xana
lot.
was dead effectively at the
Well,
end of
yeah.
the third book.
But like while she was still alive before, she didn't have all of the connections. She didn't know of all of his connections. So therefore, what is it, Cognus? Wouldn't have gotten them either.
But the thing is, he never had control of the Senate of the Republic Senate or anything like that. He never had control of anything
Well,
with the
I mean-
Republic. He had
No,
spies in the
no.
Jedi Council.
Sir.
What?
Sir.
I'm just saying, you said he had complete control of the galaxy,
Yeah,
correct?
through manipulation. I'm using your example of Palpatine having complete
Did
control
he
of the Hutt.
have things in the Senate?
Well, I mean,
He
first
dissolved
of
the Senate.
First and foremost, the reason that Palpatine was able to dissolve the Senate, first and foremost, was from the connections that Bane was able to make. The generations of bribing and having someone in your pocket. If you want to use Palpatine as in absolute control of Hutt space, then Bane absolutely had
But
absolute
you just said
control
you
of the
can't,
Senate.
so you can't use that same argument against me.
But you
Because
keep
just
saying-
said it wasn't manipulated. You
But
can't say that.
You're the one that is arguing
So now
against
you're
me.
agreeing with me that Palpatine had complete control of the
Guys,
galaxy.
just point something out here. You're talking about two different factions. It's like talking about the United States and Russia trying to control the whole world. You're talking about two different factions. So neither one, I doubt, ruled everything.
No. I'm simply stating that if you're correct...
Uh-huh.
I'm just pointing out...
I know, I'm not just saying you guys are talking about two factions here.
Well, it's kind of, similar. But he's talking about the Sith, and yes, I'm talking about the Empire.
Yes.
So there is two completely different things there, yes.
Yes.
But they kind of are one and the same once you get to the Empire, because Darth Sidious, the Emperor,
Palpatine is
or
the
Palpatine.
Empire.
Palpatine is the Empire, yeah.
I'm the Senate.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
the Senate doesn't exist
Very
at that point.
good. Very good.
Yeah. But regardless, no, I'm simply using your argument against you by simply stating that if you absolutely believe that Palpatine had absolute control of Hutt space because of his manipulations from whatever manipulations he might have, then by your arguments, Bane would have absolute control of the galaxy.
But we never discussed Chiss.
Chiss never came into the agreement.
The Chiss are from a different galaxy.
No, they're not.
they're from the Star Wars
They're from
galaxy.
the
They're
unknown
the
region.
unknown. Yeah, they're
They're from the unknown region.
See, I told
Yeah.
you, they like talking about United States.
The
and Russia.
fucking unknown regions.
Therefore, technically, no faction had complete
Yushan
control
Vong-
because there was still the unknown region, to be
The
honest.
Yushan Vong are also
Technically,
from the unknown region.
no one ever
Control.
controlled all of the galaxy. That's why I used, originally at the beginning, why I said all of known space. Because if you look at the history of the Republic and the Sith Empire, most of it stems from the core and eventually goes out. The map that you're aware of around the time of the Empire, where like it goes all the way out to the Outer Rim, that's only like about a couple of thousand years old. Darth Bane was 3,000 years before this.
Yes, it was.
It was like
3,000?
Yes,
it was
he
3,000 years.
3,000 or 1,000?
Yes,
I thought
it was 3.
Okay.
He was 3,000 years before the movies that we know of. Before the prequels, before episode 4, 5, and 6, and before 7 and 8. He is 3,000 years before all of that. Prior to him, if you keep going back even further, the map gets significantly smaller and smaller and smaller. Because they haven't explored as much. It's similar to like, Rome controlled all of the known world at one point.
The known world.
Which pretty much was Europe and Asia.
But they...
No.
The
At one point
world.
in the history of the world, Rome controlled all of the known world.
But didn't they know China?
This
And
was
they
Asia
controlled it.
in Europe.
They controlled China.
Yeah.
Parts of it.
Parts of it, but not the known world. If
They controlled all of the known world.
If they only control parts of China...
Jacob?
I'm just being very technical because I'm losing my argument here, okay? I want to win every single point I can get.
Let me explain
What else
this.
do I know?
Let me explain this
Okay.
and see if the people here will understand. The known world would have been developed by the cartographers, map makers, for those of you who don't know what cartography is.
Which would have been controlled by the Roman Empire, so they would show that the Romans won.
Exactly. The known world would have been whatever Rome had.
So you can say that with the Empire.
Explored.
You can say that pretty much whoever had the mass populace.
Right. It's all
Whoever had the
I do
majority.
not agree with you that the Sith Empire in base time had complete control. Or almost.
He just said it.
First controls
But going back to my
That's also
original
true.
question, since technically that's all legends, that actually doesn't technically happen in history. Would you?
Oh, shit, now
so
we're talking
I'm winning now.
Because we're wrong. Okay.
It's my trump card.
All right.
Would you like to see a different type of what is it? What's the word? Rendition.
Truth?
Rendition.
Well,
A
technically,
different type of truth.
technically
What
they
you're
never
talking about
uncanonized.
is a different type of truth.
It's not a truth.
Technically,
It's
it is.
technically it's legends.
No.
No.
What you're talking about is a different type of truth.
Because what we know right now is technically is now considered legends.
Technically, they never uncanonized anything previous.
That's not true.
That's absolutely
That is
true.
not true
They
at
didn't
all.
uncanonize it.
No. In July 2014, in 2014, they specifically stated what is canon and what is not canon.
Yeah,
It
but they
is
also
the
went
last
on a gray
comic book.
line. They went a gray line on Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO that's currently still under Disney rule.
But that technically doesn't involve Bane at all. Bane is canon, but not his story.
I feel
Which
like this
sucks.
is like how they wrote the Bible right now.
This is
How
exactly
is
how
that
they
possible? Yeah, King James Version.
Oh my
Very
God.
good point.
Because technically, Bane never really had a mask like that at all. He never looked like a samurai in anything like that.
Are you talking about when
No,
he showed
but
up in...
There are multiple renditions of what Bane looked like, even prior.
You gotta think about it too. It's like
to
that's how they
Disney
decide what
taking
Jesus
over.
looked like.
Thank you for joining us on the BlueMilk podcast, where we talked about a lot.
We went
It's
strange
accurate.
places.
And we yelled at each other a lot.
I feel good.
Of course
it's
you
like
did.
therapy for nerds.
And we got very passionate. We got very passionate about the topics that we were talking about. And
You know, that's going to be our intro from now on.
Therapy.
It's therapy for nerds.
We could do a commercial on that.
We should.
join us again next time when we might be just as passionate about the topics that we're talking about. Or not at all. And probably ramble a lot, because that's usually what we do. please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you want. That would be nice.
And ask a question. You might be able to appear in the podcast.
Yeah, ask a question.
Thank you to Faith and Ray for being on this episode. Again.
Also, the woman.
Yeah, the woman is on every podcast, whether she appears on camera or not. She's on every podcast. But yeah, thanks to the woman for... What the fuck are you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Anyway,
Check us out on our Facebook page. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube,
Twitter, Reddit.
Twitter, Reddit. Well, Reddit we're working on.
Reddit is fucked for some reason. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out.
Technology, it's confusing for him.
It's there, you just can't find it.
It's confusing for him. Regardless.
Chewing on the cables.
Yes.
Regardless,
Yes.
thank you for joining us, and join us again next week on Monday at 3 o'clock when we have another episode up for you. Toodles.
Bye.